Really? All right. Good evening, everyone. I call this regular meeting of the Westchester County Board of Legislators to order. If we all could please rise. Take your time, Mr. Gelfarb, it's okay. If we could all please rise as Legislator Shimsky leads us in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, give us the strength, courage, and wisdom to always act in the best interest of the people of Westchester County while we're in this chamber. Let us keep in mind that every decision that we make impacts upon the life, health, and safety of all our great county residents. Amen. Madam Clerk.
Majority Leader Hartman. Minority Leader Maisano. Here. Ms. Borgia. Here. Mr. Burrows. Mr. Gelfarb. Here. Mr. Kaplan. Ms. Marcotte. Ms. Myers. Here. Ms. Perez. Here. Mr. Bryan. Ms. Shimsky.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Spreckman. Here. Mr. Testa.
Here.
Ms. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Williams. Mr. Chairman.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Shimsky.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the consent agenda with the following revision. Page 8, item number 8, delete Committee on Community Services.
Thank you, Ms. Shimsky. Mr. Maisano. Madam Clerk, we are on consent. Ms. Shimsky, for the minutes.
Yes. I move the approval of the May 6th minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Shimsky. Without objection, members, so ordered. Madam Clerk, let's go public comment.
Each speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes. I'll call the names of the speakers and ask that you please come down the aisle to my left behind the black ropes. Regina Riley and Edmund Riley.
Ms. Riley, just be careful on the edge there with the screen. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Riley.
My name is Regina Riley. I'm from District 9. New York State has one glaring exception to mandated reporting of suspected child abuse and suspected sexual abuse of a minor. In any other clinic, hospital, school, church, fire, and police services, adults can actually be brought up on charges for not reporting suspected sexual abuse of a minor. But Planned Parenthood of America gets a free pass in the Empire State. A 16-year-old girl is a minor in New York. Let me tell you a story about continuous incestuous rapes, which occurred over 4 years to a girl of such an age. She was brought to Planned Parenthood a number of times by this felonious pervert for abortions which she would lie was the boyfriend's kid. Despite the petrified look on the girl, the bruising on the inside of her thighs, and the inflammation of her cervix, Planned Parenthood vacuumed her out and got paid $450, mostly from state-funded Medicaid, for each of the 4 abortions this child had to be subjected to by this vicious relative. What about the girl's right to choose, to not have sex? This child's bruises showed she said no. When she became pregnant, many times, she wanted to give birth to the children and mothered the babies because she felt she herself had never known true love. The male relative knew that the baby would be a damning evidence against him, and he would have to stop the sex and he'd even be discovered maybe in due time. Misters Cuomo, Latimer, Carlucci, Klein, and Mrs. Stewart Cousins apparently don't really care about girls like this one any more than Planned Parenthood. If they did, they would protect the girl from Planned Parenthood's non-mandating status and from the law they're trying to present, which would allow all 9 months a girl to be aborted and be aborted by non-doctors to boot. It was these late-term abortions that Gosnell and Carhart were guilty of, and in fact killing women in those some cases as well. Presently, there are viable babies being born and aborted in New York State. And New York State's Assembly and Senate Democrats are holding up sex selection abortions, where if the unborn is a girl, they can abort it. So that's being held up in New York State Assembly. All I ask is that if they really care, that they hold Planned Parenthood to the same rigorous standards of mandated reporting as the rest of New York.
Ed Riley.
Madam Clerk. My name is Ed Riley. I'm from Croton. Good luck with holding Planned Parenthood accountable in the state of New York. They control the state legislature as they control this legislature. We've been asking for 30 consecutive meetings for the inspection of Planned Parenthood facilities in this county. We specifically asked the Abortion Coalition of Borgia, Myers, Williams, and Shimsky to do this, since they are the point men for Planned Parenthood. I'd like to remind you of an abortion mill 2 blocks from here on the Church Street Clinic. It was closed after Right to Life people in White Plains persisted in demanding from the health department in the county and the building department in White Plains they closed this filthy pigsty, and it finally was closed by the building inspector. And then when they closed it, the state, found out that it was guilty of financial improprieties. And then 4 blocks from here, in an abortion mill that's still open, Dr. Hak, Moshe Hakamovich. The headline associated with his name was "Abortion Doctor Associated with the Death of 6 Women." Dr. Gosnell is not an exception. He is the rule in the abortion industry in this state, not Philadelphia, in New York. When do they close abortion mills like the A to Z clinic that was closed 2 months ago? When a woman dies and it hits the front page. If a woman dies and it doesn't hit the front page, they don't even bother investigating. Let's talk about Gosnell's clinic, because it is typical of a New York State abortion mill. Despite what amounted to a blackout by many media outlets, including Gannett, you probably heard at least some of the details. According to the grand jury report, which is on the internet, by the way, in case you're interested, if any of you are curious, Gosnell's Philadelphia clinic was a filthy abattoir. It stunk of urine. Flea-ridden cats defecated freely, including in the procedure rooms. Fetuses, or rather parts of fetuses, were all over the place in jars and on the shelves. The remains of 45 babies. Now, you read 7 children and 1 woman. This man killed hundreds, and his employees were found guilty of killing 10. You heard 7 or 4 or 3. Hundreds. The remains of 45 babies were found by authorities, including in a bottle, a baby's foot on the shelf. A woman named Manjar, a 41-year-old refugee from Nepal. By the way, you black legislators ought to take advantage of this. You know, Gosnell was a black guy. You know, he kept 2 separate waiting rooms because he said black people will put up with more than white patients. So the white patient's waiting room was cleaner, relatively cleaner than the black patient's waiting room. allegedly because he and his staff used too much of the cheap sedative and because the clinic was so crammed with junk that it took paramedics 20 minutes just to find their way out. Authorities later found her intact 19-week-old fetus in a freezer. That reminds me of another New York abortionist. We call him the Freezer Man. Stephen Chase Brigham. New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Florida. This guy's been everywhere. But New York, every time they open his freezer, they find bodies. Was he ever shut down for New York on that? No. The only thing he was ever prosecuted for was Medicaid fraud.
Mr. Riley, could you wrap it up, please?
Thank you. We expect the county authorities to do their job and inspect the abortion mills in this county, and especially Planned Parenthood.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other cards.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's jump down to the regular order of business. I guess we have unfinished business.
Sorry. Under unfinished business, item 6089, this item was severed and held over from the May 6, 2013 consent agenda, appears here as an item of unfinished business for committee referral only. It's an act authorizing the amendment of the 2012 county operating budget in the amount of $48,645,000.
Madam Clerk, can we have a long roll call vote
To refer this item
to the committees on budget and appropriations? Thank you.
Mr. Mazzano? Ms. Borgia?
Yes.
Mr. Burrows? Mr. Gelfarb? Ms. Marcotte? Ms. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Ms. Shimsky?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Berkman? Mr. Testa? Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Approved 12-0 to go to Committee on Budget and Appropriations. Item 6090 was severed and held over from the May 6, 2013 consent agenda. Appears here as an item of unfinished business for committee referral only. It's a resolution authorizing the transfer of funds within various county departments in the amount of $4,472,801.
Thank you. Members, without objection, we'll take the prior long roll call vote to refer the item to committee. So ordered. It's referred to the Committee on Budget and Appropriations.
Approved 12-0. Under standing committees, item 5982 from the Committee on Appointments is the reappointment of Jerome Valenti as a member of the Westchester County Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board for a term to expire December 31st, 2015.
Ms. Shimsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Valenti has served the committee faithfully and well, comes very well recommended to us, and that we therefore recommend his reappointment here tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Shimsky. Members on this item, unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 12-0. Item 5985 from the Committee on Appointments is the reappointment of James Chisholm as a member of the Westchester County Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board for a term to expire December 31st, 2015.
Ms. Shimsky.
Mr. Chisholm has also served satisfactorily, and we request that he be approved tonight as well.
Thank you, Ms. Shimsky. Members on this item, unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 12-0. Item 6122 from the Committees on Community Services and Legislation is a resolution setting a public hearing on a local law amending the laws of Westchester County in relation to prohibiting housing discrimination based on...
Ms. Williams.
The Committee on Community Services met in combination with the Committee on Legislation last week and voted, after much discussion, to vote this item out for all purposes and obviously a hearing, a public hearing on June 3rd at 7:30 p.m., June 3rd, 2013.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Members, unless there's objection, all right, let's do, no worries. Let's have a long roll call vote for setting the public hearing for June 3rd at 7:30.
Mr. Mazzano? Yes. Ms. Borgia?
Yes.
Mr. Burrows? Yes. Mr. Gelfarb? Aye. Ms. Marcotte? Ms. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Perez? Ms. Shimsky?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Ms. Spreckman? Mr. Testa?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Approved 12-1.
Mr. Testa, would you like to be recorded?
In the affirmative for the first two items, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Testa.
Item 5923 from the Committees on Government Operations and Budget and Appropriations is a resolution finding there will be no significant impact on the environment from the removal of one parcel of property from the Blindbrook District and the addition of said parcel to the Mamaroneck District.
Madam Clerk, we're going to have to skip over that one right now because the public hearing for that's at 7:30. So let's go down to item number 6.
Item 5938 from the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Public Safety and Security, an act authorizing the county to enter into intermunicipal agreements with 23 municipalities in order to provide reimbursement for prisoner transportation to the Westchester County Jail.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, this is an item that was referred to Budget and Appropriations after it had gone through Public Safety, the Public Safety Committee, and this actually provides an agreement to authorize the county to enter into IMAs with 23 different municipalities for prisoner transportation. The IMAs commenced on January 1st and will terminate on December 31st, 2014. The reimbursement to the municipalities will not exceed $579,485 in 2013 and $596,870 in 2014 for a total amount not to exceed $1,176,355. At this point, I would like to pass this over to the Chairwoman of Public Safety.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. Perez.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the renewal of a previous IMA, where the county is required at our own expense to transport prisoners between the local municipalities and the Westchester County Jail. The IMA will allow the county to reimburse the municipalities for the costs they incur in the prisoner transport, in transporting the prisoners who have been arraigned in local courts between each municipality and the county jail. So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Members, Ms. Perez, Ms. Myers, on the items we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different items on the IMAs for prisoner transport. Would we be in order to have discussions, or are there differences in them that you need to discuss separately, Ms. Myers?
Yes, the dollar figures are different for the other municipalities.
But from the content, there is not, I mean, we can't vote on them as one group. We have to.
No, the content is the same, but the dollar figure is different.
So members, yes, Ms. Perez?
Also, the last item is an amendment.
Okay. Members, we are on discussion for the prisoner transport items, which are ID numbers 5938, item 6, 5939, item 7, 5962, item 9, as well as 5966, item 11. They're all prisoner, I'm sorry.
Yeah, wait.
Nope, I skipped that. 5962, skip that one. Number 11, which is the IMA prisoner transport. They are all prisoner transport items. Again, items number 6, 7, 8, and 11. So we're on discussion for those members on those items. Thank you. On item number 5938, item 6, without objection, members, no, we need a long roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Maysano? Ms. Borgia?
Yes.
Mr. Burrows? Mr. Gelfarb? Ms. Marcotte? Ms. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Ms. Shimsky?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Spreckman? Mr. Testa? Yes. Ms. Williams? Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Approved 13-0. Item 5939 from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Public Safety and Security, an act authorizing the county to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the City of White Plains in order to provide reimbursement for prisoner transportation to the Westchester County Jail.
Ms. Myers?
Yes, so moved.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. As previously discussed, members, unless there's objection, we're going to take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 5940 from the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Public Safety and Security, an act authorizing the county to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Harrison in order to provide reimbursement for prisoner transportation to the Westchester County Jail.
Ms. Myers?
Yes, as previously discussed, this one is with Harrison, and this actually is for a term commencing January 1, 2013 and terminating December 31st, 2017. And this both sets the limits for the reimbursement for the transportation, as well as the transportation is based on a flat rate per trip from Harrison to Valhalla. So moved.
Thank you. Members, we already had discussion on this particular item. If there, unless there's objection, we'll take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0.
Let's jump down to item 11, Madam Clerk.
Item 5966 from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Public Safety and Security, an act authorizing the county to enter into an amendment to an intermunicipal agreement with the City of Mount Vernon in order to provide reimbursement for prisoner transport to the county jail.
Ms. Myers?
Yes, this looks like, at any rate, this is similar, and this is for the city of Mount Vernon. So moved.
Ms. Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment was necessary as a result of an unforeseen increase in the number of arrests in Mount Vernon and the corresponding increase in prisoners being transported that Mount Vernon was required to make in both 2011 and 2012. So just because of the increase in numbers, so moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. We have had discussion on this item. Members, unless there's objection, we'll take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0.
Ms. Shimsky, we are at the time for the public hearing.
Yes. I move to suspend the regular order of business for the purpose of conducting 2 public hearings.
Thank you, Ms. Shimsky. Madam Clerk, on the public hearings, you want to do we have cards for the sewer removal? Let's do that one first.
Notices of tonight's hearings were published in the Journal News. I have proof of publication, which is available for inspection in my office. The second public hearing from the Committees on Government Operations and Budget and Appropriations is on a proposed modification to both the Blind Brook and Mamaroneck sanitary sewer districts by the removal of one parcel of property located in the city of Rye from the BBSSD and the addition of said parcel into the MSSD. Mr. Chairman, I have no cards.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Shimsky, you would move that public hearing number 2 be closed.
I move that public hearing number 2 be closed.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, on public hearing number 1.
From the Committees on Government Operations and Budget and Appropriations, a public hearing for the public project to rehabilitate the Ashford Avenue Bridge located within the villages of Ardsley and Dobbs Ferry, and the public project to rehabilitate the entrance and exit ramp between Ashford Avenue to the northbound Sawmill River Parkway.
Thank you. For the members of the public and our members this evening, there will be a presentation first before any of the speakers are called. So, for the record, the Law Department, you are on. Good evening, Mr. Pisco. Thank you for the air conditioning.
Good evening. My name is Richard Height. I'm the property rights consultant for the county in connection with the Ashford Avenue project. Also here tonight with me are Kevin Roseman from the Public Works and Transportation and Tammy Altschiller from the County Attorney's Office. I would like to formally open this public hearing for the rehabilitation of the Ashford Avenue Bridge, bin 5348380, and the entrance and exit ramp between Ashford Avenue to the northbound Sawmill River Parkway, bin 534838A, located in the villages of Ardsley and Dobbs Ferry, Westchester County, New York. The purpose of this public hearing is to meet the legal requirements of Article 2 of the Eminent Domain Procedure Law. A notice of the public hearing was published in the South, Central, and Northern editions of the Journal News for 5 consecutive days beginning April 29, 2013. A copy of the notice of public hearing was sent to the assessment record billing owners potentially impacted by the proposed public project. The public notice reads as follows. Please take notice that in accordance with the New York Eminent Domain Procedure Law, Section 202, notice is hereby given that a public hearing regarding the public project to rehabilitate the Ashford Avenue Bridge, bin 5348380, which is located within the villages of Ardsley and Dobbs Ferry and situated over the Sawmill River Parkway, South County Trailway, Elm Street, the New York State Thruway, Interstate 87, and the Sawmill River, and the public project to rehabilitate the entrance and exit ramp between Ashford Avenue to the northbound Sawmill River Parkway, bin 534838A, will be held in the Board of Legislators Chambers, room 800, I practiced that one too. McCallion Office Building, 148 Martine Avenue, White Plains, New York, 10601, on the 20th day of May, 2013, at 7 p.m. The purpose of the hearing is to outline the public project, proposed location, and alternate location, if any, to the other pertinent information, including maps and property descriptions of the properties to be acquired and adjacent parcels. For further information, please go to www.westchestergov.com/Ashford Avenue Bridge. Persons may appear in person or by agent and will be given the opportunity to present oral or written statements and to submit other documents or information concerning the proposed project. As stated in the notice, there are several purposes for the hearing tonight. Provide information on the proposed project, explain and describe the public use, benefits, and purpose of the proposed project, describe the location or geographic parameters of the proposed project and explain reasons for the selection of the location, discuss the general effect of the proposed project on the environment and on the residents of Ardsley and Dobbs Ferry, identify the property interests the county will need to acquire in order to accomplish this project, and accept and consider public comments on the proposed project. Hearing procedure. The oral statements made tonight during tonight's session are being recorded by a stenographer. Additionally, various documents have been pre-marked as exhibits and will be incorporated into the hearing of this record. Following tonight's session, members of the public are invited to submit written comments or other documents relating to the proposed project, which will become part of the record of this hearing. These written comments and documents should be addressed to Kevin Roseman, Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation, 148 Martine Avenue, room 400B, White Plains, New York, 10601. As soon as possible after tonight's session, copies of the transcript of this hearing will be made available for the public to examine without cost during normal business hours at the Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation, 148 Martine Avenue, room 518, White Plains, New York, and the Office of the County Clerk, Division of Land Records, 110 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, White Plains, New York. Any person who would like to examine these records should contact Kevin Roseman at 914-995-4084. Within 90 days after the conclusion of this hearing, the Westchester County Board of Legislators shall make its determination and findings concerning this proposed project. A brief synopsis of the board's determination and findings will be published in appropriate newspapers and mailed to owners of record. Exhibits. There are several exhibits that have been pre-marked and are being entered into the hearing record this evening. The notice of tonight's public hearing was published in the South, Central, and Northern editions of the Journal News, which have been pre-marked as Exhibit 1. The affidavit of publication has been pre-marked as Exhibit 2. In addition to publishing the notice of this hearing in the newspaper, the county mailed notices to each of the assessment record building owners and one tenant. The letter notices, copies of certified mailing, and return receipt documents and affidavit of mailing have been pre-marked as Exhibit 3. Also available tonight for public inspection is a copy of the design report. It includes many of the technical details relating to the project, including the scope and evolution, alternatives, environmental, historical, and social matters that were considered. The design report has been pre-marked as Exhibit 4. A PowerPoint presentation containing technical information on the project has been prepared for tonight's public hearing. Copies of this presentation have been collectively pre-marked as Exhibit 5. The right-of-way acquisition maps prepared for this project are collectively pre-marked as Exhibit 6, and a large summary acquisition map is pre-marked as Exhibit 7. In addition, all written public comment submissions will be entered into the hearing record as Exhibit 8 collectively. At this time, I would request that all pre-marked exhibits be admitted into the record of these proceedings. The preferred design alternative for the project involves acquiring property rights in the form of temporary easements to 5 parcels of property for approximately 1.4 acres. The county is required to follow a specific process to acquire property rights necessary for the construction of the project. The technical portion of the hearing will include an explanation of the property acquisition process. The preferred design alternative also results in the need to temporarily relocate one small business. An analysis of the relocation needs of the project are addressed in the conceptual stage relocation plan. The plan is contained in Appendix N of the design report, which was previously pre-marked as Exhibit 4. At the conclusion of the technical presentation, we will open the floor for public comments. As you enter the auditorium this evening, there is a sign-in sheet. On the sign-in sheet, we ask you to indicate whether or not you wish to provide oral comment this evening. The county will also accept written comments and documents related to this project. Now, Kevin Roseman will present the design portion of the technical program. Thank you.
Thank you. The following presentation will discuss the design and environmental procedures utilized in determining the preferred alternative for this rehabilitation project and present an overview of the temporary easements that are required. Ashford Avenue is a 4-lane roadway connecting Broadway, Route 9, with Sawmill River Road, Route 9A, and other points to the east. The Ashford Avenue Bridge traverses from west to east the Sawmill River Parkway, the South County Trailway, Elm Street, the New York State Thruway, otherwise known as I-87, and the Sawmill River. As many of you are aware, the Ashford Avenue Bridge is in need of extensive rehabilitation. Recent repairs performed over the past year have alleviated immediate safety concerns, but major work is required. The last rehabilitation was in 1992 and had an expected life of about 20 years. For this project, we would like to achieve a 50-year service life. The goals of the project are to eliminate structural deficiencies in a cost-effective manner, reduce seismic vulnerability, enhance safety, and improve non-standard design features where appropriate. Federal funds are being used in this project, and a rigorous process must be followed as a result. Preliminary inspection began in 2009, and our 60% design plans will be completed this summer. Final design and right-of-way acquisition activities must take place over the next year before construction authorization is received in late 2014. We expect major construction to commence in the spring of 2015 and be completed by the end of 2017. The existing bridge, built in 1950, is approximately 400 feet long and has 4 10-foot travel lanes plus sidewalks on each side. The ramp is approximately 173 feet long and has 2 12-foot lanes. One of the areas of deterioration is the concrete deck. Planking was recently placed under the bridge deck to catch any loose pieces so they do not fall on anyone below. Netting was also placed on the overhangs to catch any spalls from the fascias or soffits. The structural steel is also deteriorated, with some girders exhibiting section loss. All 6 piers on the bridge are deteriorated, while the ramp has its 3 piers in a similar state. Four alternatives were evaluated for this project. Number 1, the no-build option, which was discarded as not viable. Number 2, a minor rehabilitation option, which would result in deck replacement along with steel and pier repairs. Number 3, a superstructure replacement option with either conventional construction or precast construction. And number 4, a full replacement option. The feasible alternatives, numbers 2, 3A, 3B, and 4, were evaluated against a number of different environmental criteria and screened. The results of the alternative screening indicates that all of the feasible alternatives would take between 18 and 36 months to complete and cost between $18 and $35 million. Alternative 2 would provide a service life of 20 years, replace the deck while making repairs to the pier and steel. Alternatives 3A and B both provide a 50-year service life and replace all steel and the deck, but alternative 3B also includes pier replacement and uses precast elements. Alternative 4, full replacement, costs significantly more and would require permanent property takings. As a result of the preliminary design and environmental work, alternative 3B, precast superstructure replacement plus a fill-type retaining wall system for the ramp, has been selected as the preferred alternative. This alternative halves the number of stages when compared to stage 3A, has a 50-year service life, and a construction cost of approximately $20.4 million. There is another $3 million in soft costs not included in this estimate, including things like construction inspection, utility relocation, and right-of-way acquisition. As part of the design process, we analyze a number of enhancements. While these elements are not included in the preferred alternative, selection and construction of the preferred alternative does not preclude those from being accomplished in the future. During stage 1 of the preferred alternative, the south half of the bridge will be closed along with the Sawmill Parkway ramp, and traffic will be restricted to 1 lane in each direction on Ashford Avenue. This cross-section view of stage 1 shows removal on the south side and traffic on the north side of the bridge. During stage 2, the north half of the bridge will be closed, but the ramp will be partially opened for exiting traffic only. Ashford Avenue traffic will remain in 1 lane per direction. Stage 2 represents a mirror of Stage 1 with the work moved to the north side and traffic driving on half of the new structure on the south side. These are photos of similar types of precast construction elsewhere in the region. The ramp structure will be removed, and in its place, a precast T-wall fill structure similar to the one shown will be constructed. This will reduce future maintenance costs and save both time and money during construction. In order to construct our preferred alternative, the county must acquire temporary easements to 5 parcels for approximately 4 years. This will necessitate the relocation of one business occupying 3 of the parcels. These temporary easements are necessary for construction activities, staging, and crane placement. Parcels 1 and 2, shown in pink, are owned by the Rana Rita Realty Company and are located on the west side of Elm Street, adjacent to the bridge. The area shown in green is also owned by Rana Rita Realty Company, but Westchester County already possesses a permanent easement for operation, maintenance, repair, or replacement of the bridge in this area. Parcel 3, shown in blue, is owned by Elm Street LLC and is located in the same vicinity. All 3 of these parcels are utilized by Tom Busey Paving and Excavating, the business that must be relocated during construction. Parcel 4, shown in yellow, is owned by the Village of Ardsley and is located south of the bridge on the west side of Elm Street. It is used as parking for the South County Trailway. Parcel 5, shown in orange, is a grassy area located on the north side of the bridge between the Sawmill River and Route 9A, and it is needed for access to the East Bridge abutment. Additional information can be obtained from the project website or by contacting me. Tammy Altschuler will now describe the property acquisition process. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tammy Altschuler. I'm a senior assistant county attorney in the Westchester County Attorney's Office. There are 4 steps in the right-of-way acquisition process: an initial meeting with each property owner, the real property appraisal, establishing just compensation and negotiating a settlement, and transferring temporary easement rights to the county. The county's primary goal through this process is to negotiate a fair settlement with each property owner. The first step in the process was a preliminary meeting with our property rights specialist, who you heard from earlier. The property rights specialist met with record owners and the business owner that needs to be relocated and provided information about the right-of-way acquisition process and proposed impacts to the property. The county also inspected the property and gathered preliminary information. The next step in the process is the real property appraisal. The appraisal is used to determine the fair market value for the property rights to be acquired. The appraiser first researches and analyzes the real estate market in the surrounding area. Comparable sales data and other market information are also reviewed. Next, the appraiser inspects each property in order to gather site-specific information. Note that owners are given the opportunity to accompany the appraiser during the site visit. Finally, the appraiser prepares a report documenting his or her findings and states the fair market value of the property rights to be acquired. Just compensation is the price the county must pay to acquire the temporary easements. The county will establish an amount it believes to be just compensation. This amount will not be less than the highest approved fair market value for the property. As stated previously, the fair market value is determined during the appraisal phase. The county is required by law to offer the full amount of the highest approved appraisal. To avoid any possible confusion, a written offer will be prepared for each property. The offer will include a statement of the just compensation amount, the basis for the just compensation amount, and a description of the property and the interest to be acquired. Each property owner will be contacted to schedule a convenient time to meet. At this meeting, the county will deliver and review the written offer. Once the offer is accepted, the county will prepare the necessary papers and schedule a meeting to execute the documents. The county understands that the right-of-way process may be new for some of you, and the county would like to assure that we will try our best to make it as easy as possible. The county will make every effort to acquire the property by negotiations. Written comments, questions, and documents will be accepted by the county until the close of business Monday, June 3rd, 2013. Please submit your written statements to Kevin Roseman. These written statements will be incorporated into the hearing record. This concludes the technical portion of the public hearing. In a few minutes, the clerk of the board will open the floor for public comment. Please note that while we are not able to respond to your statements and questions at this time, all statements and comments received will be considered in preparation of the determination and findings. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have no cards.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Shimsky.
I move that we close this public hearing and resume the regular course of business.
Awesome, thank you. We certainly will give our guests and presenters an opportunity to leave at this point in time. Madam Clerk, if we continue on with our regular order of business.
Under standing committees, number 4, item 5923 from the Committees on Government Operations and Budget Appropriations, a resolution finding there will be no significant impact on the environment from the removal of one parcel of property from the Blind Brook District and the addition of said parcel to the Mamaroneck District.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, if I may, I would take this up. This is the environmental resolution up with the act that follows this, which is the actual act making the modification. This is on behalf of a piece of a property, a homeowner owns the property, who had been hooked up with the Blind Brook wastewater treatment plant and the Blind Brook District, but once a closer site to them was actually finished with its sewering project, which actually goes into the Mamaroneck Sewer District, they requested to be taken out of the Blind Brook District now that they could be put into the Mamaroneck District. It's a shorter distance for pumping, actually, and therefore, and there are no environmental concerns, no significant impact on the environment, nor on the wastewater treatment plant and its speedies permits. Therefore, it is literally just going from one sewer district to the other. So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Members, we are on item number 4, which is ID 5923, and item number 5924 for discussion. Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the environmental resolution, which is item 5923. Item 4. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 5924 from the Committees on Government Operations and Budget and Appropriations, an act to modify both the Blind Brook and Mamaroneck sanitary sewer districts by the removal of one parcel of property located in the city of Rye from the Blind Brook sanitary sewer district and the addition of said parcel into the Mamaroneck sanitary sewer district.
Ms. Myers.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Myers. Unless there's objection, members, we'll take the prior long roll call vote for approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Number 9, ID number 5962. From the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Community Services, an act authorizing the county to enter into 3-year agreements with the City of Mount Vernon and City of Yonkers commencing April 1st, 2013 to provide funds under the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS program.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, actually, if I may, I would take this item up with the following item number 10, the agreement with the City of New York, because they are intricately entwined. Say that again fast. This is commonly known as HOPWA money. This is federal money that comes to Westchester County through New York City that can then be sent to certain municipalities for housing opportunities for persons with AIDS. Even though it is $120,000 less this year than it was a year ago, it would provide, it provides $2 million basically, of which the county keeps $60,000 for its administration, and it provides to the city of Mount Vernon as well as Yonkers with some significant funding for housing. So I would urge that we approve not only the agreement with the City of New York that would allow us to receive this money, but with Mount Vernon and Yonkers to allow us to provide them with these HOPWA funds. I will turn this over to Community Services for further discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This act provides for a three-year agreement for the years 2013, 14, and 15, and provides to the city of Mount Vernon a total of $357,246 for the year 2013, and approximately the same amount, less $246 for the city of Yonkers. By approving this act, we are able to provide, or the cities of Mount Vernon and Yonkers are able to provide housing opportunities for people with AIDS, as well as casework and other services to those people. In addition, this program has been going on for approximately 20 years now, and any surplus monies that are left over from the previous fiscal years of 2010, 11, and 12 that have not been expended will be included in the amount that's available to these two cities. So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Members, we are on discussion for item 95962 and item 105964. Members on these items. Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of item 9. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 5964, from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Community Services, an act authorizing the county to enter into a 3-year agreement with the City of New York commencing on April 1st, 2013 to receive federal grant funds under the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS program.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, as previously discussed, so moved.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Myers. Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Number 12, ID number 6037, from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Government Operations, a bond act authorizing the issuance of up to $600,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project BCR 50 Infirmary Suicide Prevention Area.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, this is for the design only of a new area that would provide a better opportunity for suicide watch at the correctional facility in Valhalla. We were told that suicide watch is up due to harder drugs and painful withdrawals, and as well as a lot of other issues that are going on. And the idea was that this would be to move, design a real building and move the suicide watch area out of a trailer in which it's currently housed. So this is for $600,000 to fund the design, which will be done in-house of a 10,000 square foot building. I would turn this over for more information to the Chair of Government Operations.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. Borgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Legislator Myers said, this is the current building is a converted dormitory trailer. The study conducted by the department in 2008 indicated that it had used its useful life expectancy even then. The suicide prevention watch area is needed for both for the safety of the patients as well as for the staff. This building will also provide energy efficiency and provide a sort of a healthier environment in general for the dormitory facility, including energy-efficient lighting, increased day lighting, which gives a healthier environment, enhanced indoor air quality, heat and HVAC comfort, and it will be an energy-efficient building. So Government Operations also recommends that we move forward with this project.
Thank you, Ms. Borgia. Members on this item? Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6081 from the Committee on Budget Appropriations, is an act to authorize the County Department of Finance Commissioner to pay mortgage tax receipts to cities, towns, and villages.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, this was actually some very good news that was brought to us by our Finance Commissioner. This provides us with the ability, this would provide us with the ability to pay out the mortgage tax receipts to cities, towns, and villages for the period from October 1st of 2012 through March 31st of this year. This is a small increase versus a year ago, and the mortgage taxes to be distributed come to the grand total of $14 million, $17,640.62, and we were provided with a breakdown of what goes to which village and town throughout the county, which is good news to the municipalities. Therefore, I would move that we approve this act.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Members on this item, it's certainly important to note that Westchester County, I believe, is the only county in New York State that distributes its portion or a portion of its sales tax revenues to the municipalities, which is good for the municipalities, but certainly several $100+ million that we might have in our own coffers to do what we needed to do. So it's important to note. Unless there's objection, members, we'll take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6146 from the Committee on Environment and Energy is a resolution setting a public hearing on a local law amending Section 237.131 of the laws of Westchester County to require that the local legislative body of any city, town, or village of Westchester County considering a resolution to petition the Westchester County Board of Legislators to enlarge an existing sewer district by the addition of an additional parcel or parcels in or upon which a commercial use resulting in the development of any structure or structures totaling 25,000 square feet or more is to be permitted, or an additional parcels in or upon which 10 or more residential dwelling units are to be permitted shall provide written notice of the same by certified mail, return receipt requested, to the clerk of any municipality located within the affected district, or to the clerk of any municipality that shares a county sewage treatment plant with the proposed project additions no later than 2 weeks after the adoption of any such resolution.
Ms. Shemsky.
Oh, sorry. This legislation is meant to remedy a particular problem that we have in this county, which is we have a large number of municipalities sharing sewer districts, and there's limited capacity, and we have to make sure that each municipality gets a fair chance at having their voices be heard when there are significant inroads made into that capacity. For current purposes, yes, for current purposes, we're going to request that the public hearing be held on the 3rd of June at 7:30 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Shemsky. Members, without objection, will take the prior long roll call vote for the setting of the public hearing. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 5779 from the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Community Services is an act authorizing the county to enter into an agreement with the Westchester County Healthcare Corporation for a term commencing January 1, 2013 through December 31, 2015, whereby the county shall provide certain employee assistance program services.
Ms. Myers.
Yes. This is actually a program with a terrific track record, which I will leave to Legislator Williams to discuss in her capacity as Chairwoman of Community Services. But from a budgetary point of view, what this provides with this act is for The Westchester County Healthcare Corporation will pay the county a total not to exceed of $300,000 or $100,000 a year for the years 2013, 14, and 15 for the provision of this employee assistant program services. This is a reduction versus the last time we approved this. It had been $146,000 a year, but Westchester Healthcare Corporation and its subsidiary, the Westchester Medical Center, have fewer employees now who would require potentially assistance, so it has been reduced. There are 33 different contracts currently with our different municipalities in addition to this, and I would turn this over to Legislator Williams to talk about this program.
Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As Ms. Myers indicated, there are 33 different contracts as part of this program. Currently, 25 individuals at Westchester Medical Center are being treated. It has been a highly successful program, and there is no anticipated increase in the numbers, hopefully, for going forward over the next 3 years. However, that remains to be seen. We would ask that the $100,000 a year for the 3-year term of the contract be voted on this evening, and that services will be allowed to continue to these employees. So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Members on this item? Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 5948 from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Community Services, an act authorizing the county to enter into a tri-party agreement with the County Healthcare Corporation and Westchester Medical Center Advanced Physician Services for a term commencing January 1, 2013 and terminating December 31, 2017, pursuant to which the county will refer patients for X-ray and tuberculosis-related services.
Thank you, Ms. Myers.
Yes, for these services, according to this agreement, the county would pay the Healthcare Corporation and the Physician Services Corporation within the Westchester Medical Center, for the provision of chest X-rays and tuberculosis-related services. Importantly, while we do have this contract with 6 different hospitals within the county, the pediatric tuberculosis is of great expertise at the Westchester Medical Center, and so it's important that we have a contract there for pediatric tuberculosis. I will turn this over to Legislator Williams for her community services comments.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These services are provided for especially pediatric cases at the Westchester Medical Center. The contract is for a duration of 5 years, and it provides for ongoing testing and treatment, especially for pediatric cases, as I indicated. In addition, it should be noted that Westchester County, unfortunately, has the highest rating in the state for drug-resistant TB, with 6+ cases over this past year. So it's important that we maintain services of this kind. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Members on this item? Without objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6035 from Committees on Budget Appropriations and Government Operations, an act amending the 2013 County Capital Budget Appropriations for Capital Project AO56C, Heavy Equipment Acquisition.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, if I may, I would like to take this number 17 together with number 18, as they both have to do with heavy equipment acquisition at the Westchester County Airport. There are 2 items here. One is a capital budget amendment that's being requested to change the financing of this project to decrease the local share of $17,496 to reflect the 5% local share that is already approved and increase the non-county share, which would be the New York State share, by 5%. So this funding will be used to purchase an aircraft de-icer vehicle at the cost of $350,000, as well as an ARFF vehicle, which is an air rescue firefighter vehicle, at the cost of $1.4 million. These are both used greatly, well, when the need arises at the airport. And we do have a very good sharing with both the state and the FAA on this. So I would turn this over to Government Operations for further discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. Borgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just by way of background, the cost of the aircraft de-icer was higher than was originally anticipated in the 2011 capital budget. That is why the change in financing is reflective of the higher cost. The ARFF vehicle is replacing a model that is about 10 years old. The equipment is anticipated to have a 10-year lifespan, and the FAA did approve the replacement of this vehicle at this time. Government Operations agrees that we should move forward with this project, as it seems to make sense to keep our equipment up to date. And of course, since we have this very favorable cost splitting with FAA and the state, it seems that we should move forward with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Borgia. Members on this item? Members, we're on discussion for items 17-6035 and item 18-6036. Without objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of item 17. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6036, from the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Government Operations, an act authorizing the county to apply for and enter into a grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for Capital Project AO56C, Heavy Equipment Acquisition.
Ms. Myers?
Yes, as previously discussed, so moved.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. We'll take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6044, from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Government Operations, an act authorizing the county to apply for and enter into a grant agreement with Federal Aviation Administration for Capital Project AO42A Stormwater Management Program.
Ms. Myers?
Yes, this is what the airport people who came forward told us were known as FAA entitlement funds. This is funding from the Federal Aviation Administration for a capital project. This is specifically for the design right now of a stormwater management project that would deal with the runoff from the airport into the Rye Lake drainage area. There will be bioretention at this site, and an intensive environmental review has gone on. This is for the $100,000, and that will be actually reimbursed 90% by the feds. 10% is the Westchester County cost, but then we receive 5% back from New York State once this is approved. Therefore, I would turn this over to Government Operations for further comment.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. Borgia?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just by way of additional background, this is part of an ongoing project at the airport. The project previously was funded some other areas of the airport, and this is to enhance the quality of the water at outfall number 7, which, as Ms. Myers said, discharges into the Rye Lake. Of course, it's always very important for us to properly manage our storm water, as it has obviously impacts in parcels that are adjacent to or especially downstream of the water runoff that we have at the airport. As Legislator Myers said, the county portion at the present time is 10% of the cost, which comes from the Airport Special Revenue Fund. However, we do believe that we will be eligible for the 5% reimbursement from the state, so that would bring our amount down to 5% of the project. Government Operations would also like to recommend that we move forward on this project.
Thank you, Ms. Borgia. Members on this item, unless there's objection, members, we'll take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6069 from the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, an act authorizing the county attorney to settle the lawsuit on behalf of the county against iPark Westchester for reimbursement of rental expenses incurred by the county in connection with the delay in obtaining occupancy and possession of the iPark facility located at 131 Warburton Avenue, Yonkers, and other related claims.
The item is recommitted.
Item 6076 from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Government Operations, an act authorizing the county to purchase approximately 7.71 acres of real property in Somers and subsequently convey said property, and authorizing the county to accept and/or release any rights in said property, all for the purposes of developing 75 affordable AFFH rental units and related facilities that will remain affordable for a period of not less than 50 years.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, if I may, I'd like to take this item up with 6077 and 6078, as all three pertain to this project. This came to Budget and Appropriations for the approval of the land acquisition, which is the 7.7 acres of property in the town of Somers. And a bond act is the second item that is in the total amount not to exceed $2.9 million, and that would finance the property acquisition costs and would be taken from BPL 50, which is for fair and affordable housing. And then we have a not to exceed amount for a second bond, the FAH infrastructure bond, that would finance the construction costs of the infrastructure improvements in a not to exceed amount of $1.9 million. At this point, I would turn this over to Legislator Borgia for a full discussion of the importance of this fair and affordable housing project.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. Borgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Phase 2 of a project known as the Muse in Somers. The first part of the project was units that were for senior residences 62 and older. This is a complementary project that does meet our settlement agreement totals. It is for a total of 75 units, 12 one-bedrooms at or less than or equal to 50% of area median income, 49 one-bedroom units at or equal to, less than or equal to 60% of area median income, 3 two-bedroom units at less than or equal to 50% of AMI, and 11 two-bedroom units equal to or less than 60% of AMI. So this will provide a variety of housing types. It is age restricted for persons 55 years or older, that we are allowed to count that in our settlement totals because we have met the criteria which allows us to have some senior units, this number of senior units, although we do have to make hit another milestone before we are able to count additional senior affordable units. This is a very nice project. The project itself is architecturally handsome. It fits very well into the site where it's located as a complement to the other senior housing project. There is a potential for a market rate project to also be on that site. The community has worked very hard to make sure that it will operate as a functioning part of the community. The town of Somers operates a senior citizens bus, provides services through their senior citizen clubs, also provides transportation to shopping and other senior citizen activities. We believe this is going to be a very good project, not only for the reduction of our obligations under the housing settlement, but for this community as well, and really meet a need. We all know that as people are desiring to age in place, it's very important to have affordable housing for the older adults in our population, and this will provide a very nice resource for them. So government operations had a chance to really look at a lot of the specifics of this project, and we think that it's very important for us to move forward with this particular project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Borgia. Members on these items, we are on discussion on items 21-6076, 22-6077, and 23-6078. I know Mr. Testa has been very clear, and the folks up in Peekskill, this particular project, if I recall correctly, generated what we were discussing earlier with the setting of the public hearing, when the municipalities wanted to be notified. I'm sure you'd want to put something like that on the record, Mr. Testa, to be concerned about that particular item in Peekskill with the sewer districts and this Somers project. I do recall that. Mr. Testa?
Well, since you bring it up, Mr. Chairman, I guess I will say a few words about it. Yes, this project, when it first came out, I was opposed to the sewage diversion that was taking place from this project because of the notification that being made for all the affected parties between Somers and the Peekskill plant. I will support this now that we're past that stage, and this is part of the settlement and so forth. But as we'll talk about when we get to the earlier item for the notification law, it's very important that municipalities that are all part of the same system know what the capacity limitations are as larger projects are brought in, and deserve a right to have their say and input into the process. So again, as this was passed by this board, I think at the last term, not the term we're in, but the term before, actually only about a month after I got on the board for my first term, so I was greeted with that right off the bat, that it's been passed and that is all in place. So we'll move forward with the settlement requirements, and hopefully from this point on, or from the point on that new legislation is passed, supported by many of my colleagues who I appreciate, we'll be able to avoid these problems in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Testa. Again, so many of us have sewer districts that are housed in our area. That was part of the importance of making sure there was notification on that, and certainly everyone appreciates the things that we have to do as far as the housing stipulation agreement, but also just beyond that, just in the good work of municipalities trying to enhance the housing opportunities for this. Ms. Myers, on this particular item, I did not see it, the investment that we're making per unit of the 75 units, if you could give us that figure for record purposes. Or Ms. Borgia, either one.
Have it. Is that this? Yeah. Yes, per unit for this particular phase 2 of this that we're discussing right now at the Muse at Baldwin Place, it comes to $83,333 per unit. However, that is in keeping with, and we did discuss at length with our planning department, the deputy commissioner from our planning department, how this does actually still fall within, because of other things that are in the pipeline, this will still bring us down to the average cost per unit of, I think it was $68,600 per unit.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Other members? Unless there's objection, members, we are voting on item number 21-6076. Unless there's objection, we'll take the prior long roll call vote for approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6077 from the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Government Operations, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $2,900,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project BPL 50, cost of land acquisition and improvements located at Route 6 and Clayton Boulevard, Somers.
Ms. Myers.
Yes, as previously discussed, so moved.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6078 from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Government Operations, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $1,900,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project BPL 50, cost of construction of improvements of land located at Route 6 and Clayton Boulevard, Somers.
Ms. Myers?
Yes, again, as previously discussed, this is the third piece, or the second bond act. So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for the approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6099 from the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, an act authorizing the county attorney to settle a claim brought against the county by the Marine Shell Processor Site Group in connection with the deposit of hazardous waste at the Marine Shell Processor site located in Amelia, Louisiana.
Ms. Myers?
Yes, this is an interesting one, and since our county attorney is here with us, I should say that because there were so many questions about this particular type of incident, that we did agree that we would get some questions both to our Department of Environmental Facilities as well as to you, so we could discuss this further. Because what this particular agreement is, and it's a settlement of a claim, it has to do with the 1993 household cleanup days that we had here in the county, and the shipment of the hazardous chemicals and other hazardous substances from the Peekskill wastewater treatment plant out to actually a site in Louisiana. And this came under some scrutiny with regards to toxic waste and to the dumping of toxic waste. This is, we were told this is a de minimis payment that we are making. This is a settlement for $1,000 per ton because Westchester County was under the 15 tons, that it will allow it to make this settlement. And the site is currently in a remedial investigation phase. This is actually a Superfund site. So we will revisit not this particular settlement agreement, but we would like to talk further in budget and appropriations about the county's exposure with respect to these kinds of shipments. So with regards to this particular settlement, I would move that we approve this settlement. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Members on this item? Unless there's objection, members will take the prior long roll call vote for approval of the item. So ordered.
Approved 13-0. Item 6126 from the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Government Operations.
Over.
All right.
Motions, resolutions, call of the districts.
Motions, resolutions, call of the districts. Ms. Myers?
Yes, I would like to be included with the Honorable Peter Harcum's memorial resolution for McCall Winter, please.
All righty. Ms. Perez?
Yes, I would like to add my name to Nazar Sage, please.
As we both would. Wow. Ms. Chimsky?
I would like to add William Mosca, M-O-S-C-A.
Other members? Ms. Marcotte?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add the name of Anthony Giordano, please.
Thank you, Ms. Marcotte. Other members? Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just on Maria Pace, it should be M-A-R-I-A. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Mazzano?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to add the names of Vincent Moretti and Barbara Ann Ferry, along with Legislator Marcotte. And I'd also just, as I know all the legislators know, this 1 week from today is Memorial Day, that very important day in our nation where we honor those veterans that died in combat to make this nation free. And I know everybody will be attending events in their districts a week from today. And I just thought that we could add to our memorial resolutions at the end the veterans in Westchester County who gave their life for the country. Thank you.
Absolutely, Mr. Mazzano. Other members? Members should note that we have Andrea Ribello on our memorial resolutions from all legislators, and it's Legislator Williams' district. We thank her for including us all in that memorial resolution, as it was a tragedy at Hofstra. All right, if we all could please rise, members, and observe a moment of silence for those mentioned in the memorial resolutions, and as certainly as Mr. Maizano said, for our veterans that gave their life and that we will recognize on Memorial Day. Ms. Shimsky.
I move that we adjourn until Monday, June 3rd at 7 p.m.
Mr. Maizano, second. Madam Clerk.
Ms. Shimsky?
Aye.
Mr. Maizano? Yes. Mr. Chairman?
Aye. On the motion of Ms. Shimsky, the board stands adjourned.